continues here on BBC One. It's time to join our colleagues in the nations and regions for the news where you are. Goodbye.
Thanks, Sophie. Tonight on BBC London. The crane operator who saved a man caught up in a huge fire in Reading, now being hailed a hero.
I'd done what I had to do. You know, I was there, I was in the crane, I got the man, you know, he went home to his friends and family. Yeah, and happy days, you know, that's the main thing at the end of the day.
Also on the programme, an officer who tasered a 10-year-old girl after she threatened her mother with garden shears is cleared of misconduct. Help for the homeless as temperatures dip below freezing in the capital. And the Olympic skateboarding star Sky Brown, who inspired a new generation, now opening a new space in Shoreditch. Good evening and welcome to BBC London. First, to the incredible rescue from a huge fire at a block in Reading. Images last Thursday showed thick black smoke and flames surrounding the building and a man being lifted to safety. Well, that was all down to the quick thinking of Glenn Edwards from Egham in Surrey. He was operating a crane at the time and is now being hailed a hero. Well, in his first TV interview with the BBC, he's been explaining what happened to Frankie McCamley.
A strong coffee with 2 sugars. That's all this unsuspecting hero wanted after saving a man's life from the roof of a burning tower.
As I looked out my left window, the guys on the ground said, "There's someone on level 8, someone on level 8. So I stopped what I was doing and looked down, and the guy was down there waving his coat about.
Glenn had to act fast, dropping the concrete skip attached to his crane, then picking up a cage.
I couldn't see nothing. And as I come down, it caught the railing, caught the fencing round the side, and it started to tip over. I couldn't feel that. It started to come down slowly again, right where he was. I tried to get the cage between him and the flames. That's what I was trying to do. I did do it in the end, lucky enough.
Were you scared at any point? Were you nervous?
Yeah. I wasn't nervous. I think it was adrenaline. The adrenaline was sort of out the roof. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I wasn't scared. And then I landed the cage and everything, and got him down on the ground. And he got out, and I got out a bit quick as well. I stood up and sort of my legs were a bit jelly.
The footage of Glenn's incredible rescue has travelled around the world.
Since then, Glenn, it's been a bit crazy, hasn't it?
Yeah. Everyone's been chasing me, like mad. Even then, I didn't sort of grasp, what I've done, and then all of a sudden it's just sort of like gone all over the place, and I couldn't believe it. It's gone viral, hasn't it? So
Did you ever think you'd be a viral sensation?
No. Well, I never got up that morning thinking that I'd be a viral sensation. On other sides,
some are now calling for him to receive commendations. Others simply say he's a hero.
Do you feel like a hero?
No, not one bit. I'd done what I had to do. I was there, I was in the crane, I got the man, he went home to his friends and family. And happy days, that's the main thing at the end of the day.
Also, there's been a little bit of a fundraiser for you as well. So you can have a beer.
I can have a beer, so I hear.
It's raised quite a lot of money as well, so you can have quite a few beers on that if you want.
There's a GoFundMe, but what I would like to say, if it's all right, everyone that has made a donation and the kind words that everyone said on the comments and everything, absolutely fantastic. And to each and every one of you, thank you very much. It's lovely. Can I show you a picture of Nugget?
Yeah.
Let me get a picture of Nugget up.
As for the fame, Glenn isn't interested. If anything, he would rather be showing off this little fella. Frankie McCamley, BBC London.
There's more to come this evening, including concerns from traders in Newham over the future of their market, and the South London schoolgirl aiming to break down barriers in motorsport. Now, if you thought it was cold today, be prepared, as temperatures in London are expected to dip below zero again. It means cold weather plans are now being put in place, while councils are taking steps by opening emergency shelters for those who are homeless, as Wendy Hurrell has been finding out.
In the first cold snap of the season, the most vulnerable Londoners feel it first. Help comes from volunteers. In Charing Cross, food and warm clothing is given out by Refugee Network International. The severe weather emergency protocol has been activated, meaning that local authorities and homelessness charities open additional accommodation for people otherwise sleeping on the street.
This is about opening up communal spaces in accommodation, in hostels, putting down camp beds. It's about using every single extra bedroom that might be spare at the moment, waiting for someone to move in. It's sometimes about booking hotel space and that kind of thing.
This is an early cold snap. How much need do you sense there is this year?
It's huge this year. I mean, we've seen, sadly, the numbers of people homeless and the numbers of people sleeping rough at the sharp end of homelessness increase month on month. We usually have enough space to bring everyone in. I'm really hoping that's the same this year, but we'll have to see.
At this St Mungo's premises in Hackney, an office becomes a warm place to sleep for those in need, with the staff kitchen given over to providing breakfast or a hot meal. And communities do what they can, opening their doors as warm banks.
We decided that we needed to do something to help the needy in the local area, and we wanted to be able to offer something hot for them to eat, somewhere warm for them to go and feel safe.
And if we can help one person on the walk out with a pair of dry socks and a pair of gloves and a nice vegetable soup in their belly and some bread, what more could they ask for?
Yeah.
David has been homeless for nearly 5 years, sofa surfing and struggling with depression.
Jackie and Karen and the staff and everyone, they go out their way to look after people like me in my situation. And I promised them when I get myself back on the ground, I must get my life sorted, I will treat them like, you know. Because without them, God knows where I'd be, to be honest with you, God knows.
With many more weeks of winter weather and ever-increasing need, these provisions in London will be vital. Wendy Hurrell, BBC London.
Next, a Met police officer who tasered a 10-year-old girl who threatened her mother with garden shears has been cleared of gross misconduct. PC Jonathan Broadhead fired his taser at the girl twice within seconds of entering her home in southwest London in 2021. Well, our Home Affairs correspondent Sonia Jessup was at the hearing, and we should warn viewers that you're about to talk us through some footage which they might find distressing.
That's right, we'll play that in a moment. The panel found that PC Jonathan Broadhead had used force that was necessary, reasonable and proportionate. Now, he'd been responding to a 999 call made by the girl's mother, and she told the panel that she'd made that call after the girl became angry after she confiscated her mobile phone. She was worried that the girl may have consumed some cannabis edibles that was affecting her behaviour, and she said that her daughter had threatened her with garden shears and a hammer. She said that the daughter had hit her with the hammer while she was waiting for the police to arrive. But she said that she hadn't expected officers to use a taser. She thought that they were going to talk to the girl to try to de-escalate the situation. So she said she was shocked by the use of the taser. Now, we're going to play this body cam footage in a moment. Some may find it distressing. It has been released by the police watchdog, the IOPC, with the consent of the girl's family.
Put it down now. Put him down now. Put him down now. Please don't do the taser. Play the taser.
And after that, the footage goes on to show the girl lying on the stairs and she's crying out. The panel heard that she needed paramedics to remove 3 barbs from her skin. She was taken to hospital.
And Sonia, the panel decided the officer should be cleared of misconduct. Did they explain how they came to this conclusion?
Well, the panel accepted evidence they heard that of the 3 options available to PC Broadhead, he had on him a taser, a baton and some pava spray. And they said under the circumstances, the taser was the safest option he could have used. They did say that on the way to the scene in the car that he could have had a more thorough conversation with his colleague to perhaps assess some of those risks and what they were going into, that he could have talked a little bit more to the mother at the door. But they said it was a fast-moving situation, and they said they accepted that PC Broadhead had acted on an honestly held belief that the girl, despite her age, represented a real risk. Now, the Met today has responded saying this is an extremely rare case. They've again apologised to the girl and their family, they say, and they've criticised the almost 3 years it's taken to reach this conclusion. The Met Police Federation, representing rank and file officers, says that the whole case was ludicrous, but the IOPC police watchdog has defended its right to pursue that case and said that it was in the public interest.
Sonia Jessup, our Home Affairs correspondent, thank you. A look now at some of the day's other news. All London's Premier League football clubs have signed a charter to make their venues safer for women at night. Arsenal, Brentford, Crystal Palace, Fulham, Chelsea, West Ham United and Tottenham are now committed to making their stadiums more welcoming, as well as helping to tackle violence against women and girls. Hackney Council is looking to recruit hate crime champions to help encourage greater cultural understanding. The new scheme is part of a wider strategy to reassure the borough's Jewish and Muslim communities. The Met has reported a sharp rise in Islamophobic and anti-Semitic hate since October, linked to the conflict in Israel and Gaza. And more than 4 million tube journeys were made during one day last week, marking the highest number since the pandemic. Transport for London said the figure was recorded last Thursday, with nearly 25 million tube journeys completed throughout the week. Now, traders at a market in East London say they're desperately worried about the future of the site due to plans for redevelopment. Queen's Market in Upton Park has been going for over a century, but the local council is now looking at options for potential modernisation. Guy Lynn has more.
3 market traders, 3 very different types of stall or shop, all united in their fear about proposed council plans to regenerate Queen's Market.
If they're going to add in like maybe a health centre or something like that, they have to get the square footage from somewhere. So it's shops or stores have to go.
You get people that end up losing their jobs and closing their shops and that.
Like I'm selling this stuff and pay the bills and pay I can survive my family. If I losing my job, finish.
The council plans to redevelop the market, which may include a new health centre, library, community centre or homes. But will that mean some shops and stalls being wiped out? Shoppers who see this market as a haven for low prices are particularly concerned too during a cost of living crisis.
I personally come from a working class background and I've been able to sustain a healthy diet because of the market, because it's affordable. And even like the coat that I'm wearing now, I purchased this from here last year.
Fresh, affordable fruit and vegetables and clothes. We can feed a family on this. We can't do that in a supermarket. And right now is a really hard time for our communities and we're feeling it.
The council told us they'll engage with shoppers, traders and the community and ensure all have their say on the new vision for the market. They also said, with 37,000 households on the housing register and 6,000 households in temporary accommodation, we are determined to address the ongoing housing crisis in Newham. We are sensitively considering the potential for additional affordable housing without impacting the market's operations.
We do believe that things have changed, but that things should be changed on our way, not the council way. Council only making money. They want to make the flats here. They want to make the redevelop this area. And the big company, they're coming here. So what about the poor community?
Stallholders here say this place has suffered years of decline and falling customers. Now their fate, they feel, is in the balance, waiting for a council decision on a number of options early next year. Guy Lynn, BBC London.
Lots more still to come, including We speak to Olympic skateboarding star Sky Brown, who inspired a new generation and is now opening a new skate park in Shoreditch. And performing for more than 20 years, meet one of the Underground's most dedicated buskers. Now, meet Sienna. She's a 15-year-old from South London who is mad about go-karting. It's a sport where Sir Lewis Hamilton, Sebastian Vettel and countless other Formula One drivers all got their start. But it's off limits to most, as it costs tens of thousands of pounds to take part. More efforts are underway to change that with a brand new karting series that hopes to find new talent, as Chris Legg explains.
Karting is a gateway into F1, but starting out costs a lot. That's something 15-year-old Sienna from Croydon is well aware of.
It's very expensive and not everyone can do it, and it's sad to think the amount of people that have amazing skill in it and they just don't have the money for it. And I think once we get to a point where it's more fair money-wise and just like opportunity-wise, I think we'll see a lot of talent out there.
Sienna drives in the Global Karting League. It's not cheap at £3,000 per season, but that's far less than the £20,000 it can cost to access the sport at this level. It's the idea of former F1 engineer Rob Smedley.
Motorsport is not democratised. You know, I've spent all of my life at the very top of the sport in Formula One. And I'm massively passionate about this sport, but I'm also passionate about, you know, looking as to what the next generation is going to do and where do we find that next generation from, you know, and we need a bigger pool with which to fish.
Sanchez says the GKL have provided a route into the sport's son's media.
I don't think we're able to championship like we are now. Without this, there is no other entry point. So it's quite a blessing in that sense. It allows drivers who want to be involved, have a love for karting, but don't necessarily have the funding to do so.
The GKL also aims to make the sport more diverse. Former test driver Susie Wolff is F1's most famous female, but she never raced a Grand Prix. Only 2 women ever have. 7-time world champion Lewis Hamilton is F1's only black driver.
Diversity in motorsport as a whole, it needs to definitely increase, especially with more people of colour and with women. The main percentage of girls in motorsport is about 12%, and that's at this level, and the higher you get, the lower it gets, so it needs to definitely increase. I definitely want to have a career out of this.
This weekend, Sienna will be hoping to keep those dreams on track as she competes in round 3 of the GKL's National Championships. Chris Legg, BBC London.
Turning now to one of the highlights of the Olympics. Remember Sky Brown? She became Britain's youngest ever Games medalist when she took bronze in skateboarding and inspired millions watching. Well, she's helping to launch a new space in East London which aims to celebrate skate culture and encourage even more of us to give it a go. Lauren Moore is there and can explain more. Lauren.
Hi there, yes, I'm on Shoreditch High Street at the moment for the launch of the Flip Park. Now it's a collaboration between Skateboard GB and Samsung to serve the ever-growing sport that is skateboarding. Now skateboarding made its debut back in Tokyo 2020 in the Olympic Games, and that was where Sky Brown won the first ever Team GB medal in the sport. And during those very Olympics, she also became Team GB's youngest ever medal winner in history, and she's also the youngest professional skater in the world. Well, she is here tonight, and I asked her just a few moments ago how she feels the sport has evolved ever since her winning moment.
Yeah, the growth since the Olympics of skateboarding has been insane. Just, yeah, going to skate parks, just seeing so many more people, and especially girls, younger girls, and it's been really cool to see, and seeing, you know, I was just in Dubai, seeing the progression of skateboarding, you know, for a woman is insane. Just these little girls doing spins and tricks that, you know, I've never really seen before. It's just really cool to see.
I was going to mention the female participation, so that's grown in, I think, 20% over the past year. How does it feel knowing you're probably a huge part of the inspiration behind that?
Yeah, it's been a dream of mine to, you know, inspire, you know, people, especially girls, and yeah, just being a part of it it's really a dream come true, and yeah, just watching it really progress and seeing it's been really fun.
And you recently won gold at the World Championships. Not too long now until Paris 2024.
Yeah.
How are you feeling ahead of another Olympics?
I'm feeling really, really excited. I had an amazing time in Tokyo, so yeah, and I just actually came back from a little injury, ankle injury, so just back now, feeling good. So really just excited to get back and pushing again and get ready for Paris.
Absolutely, and I'll finish off by asking anyone that's here today, what would you say to encourage them to try step on a skateboard for the first time if they haven't tried before?
Yeah, I would say, you know, it can be scary. Skateboarding is, you know, you're gonna fall sometimes. You know, I had some falls and, you know, it's scary, but that can't stop you. You gotta get back up and try again. That's gonna make you way better and enjoy the journey. You can't, you know, take some time to get good, but enjoy it, have fun every step, you know, learn, you know, it's not gonna be easy. Sometimes it's gonna take a while to learn a trick. So just take your time, enjoy it, and yeah, never give up.
So this evening is the launch event, but from tomorrow onwards it is open for anyone in the public if they want to come down, no matter what the level of skateboarding is. So if you're a professional level, if you're an amateur, or if you can barely stand on a skateboard, a bit like myself, well, you're free to come down, come along anytime, and there's plenty of skateboard GB athletes as well hanging around here to hand over all their tips and tricks.
Lauren in Shoreditch, thank you. Now, if you're a regular commuter on the tube, you may well have come across this man. Well, Fabio has been a busker on the London Underground for an impressive 20 years, and it's now his full-time job. If you're wondering what keeps him performing, well, he's been explaining.
My name is Fabio and my artist name is A Pianist Without Borders. One day I took the bus on the wrong direction and I ended up in Leicester Square on Friday night at 1 a.m. and then I see people busking on the street, like playing drums, and I fell in love with that straight away and I said, that's what I want to do. I did 2 auditions. I busked 7 years with the percussion, and then in 2007 I auditioned again for the keyboard. I think it was a 4 or 5 judges, like X Factor. You play there, and then they say, okay, thank you. And then they send you email, say, okay, we take you, we give you the license. Some baskers, they have 2 or 3 jobs. But for me, because I love so much what I do, I believe the more you give, the more you receive. So I've been living like this for 20 years. I do basking like nearly 7 days a week, as much as I can. I love the energy that the music creates, and it relaxes me. When I play, it's like I'm doing meditation for 5 hours a day. Every single day I have like a magical moment. For example, even today, there's a lady, she's always passing in Green Park, and every day she gives me an amazing sandwich, and she makes this sandwich. And she's been doing this for a long, long time. Whatever I do, I put passion and love 100%, so I never see myself tired of basking. I can do this forever.
Now, I'm sure you've noticed it's beginning to look a lot like Christmas across the capital, with lights and decorations almost everywhere you look. But did you know that many of our festive traditions became just that with the help of Charles Dickens and his books? It's all explored at his former home in Doty Street, which is now a museum. We went for a look around.
The fun, the games, carving meat. He was wonderful at carving turkeys. Dickens loved to celebrate Christmas. He took a week off, he enjoyed the celebrations. That enthusiasm runs through his life, his books, and we love to celebrate that here at the museum. Dickens saw a lot of people in different circumstances and decided that actually writing a pamphlet would just go on deaf ears, that really he needed to use what he could do best, which was of course story writing, to create an amazing story that sort of celebrated the ideals of charity, education, kindness, and thinking about the family at Christmas. And of course, that's what he did with the Christmas Carol.
And we want to hear from you about the things happening in your community to bring some festive cheer to where you live. Is there someone or a group or voluntary organisation working to really make a difference at Christmas? We'd love to hear from you. You can email us at hellobbclondon@bbc.co.uk. Time for a look at the weather. Here's Helen Willits. And Helen, very frosty out there, isn't it?
Very festive almost, Alison, as well. But of course it comes with its problems, doesn't it? We had a frost in central London in St James's Park last night, -1, -2 tonight, even colder. And actually it's going to get colder still Friday night, probably the coldest night, but staying chilly as we go through the weekend. These are the temperatures across the London region. Now, as well as ice, there's a concern that we'll see some freezing fog tonight, which will add to the icy conditions, if you like. So keep up to date with the warnings. There are warnings out across Essex, for example, because the showers have been coming in here. This is the rain and snow that we had further west of us, but it has dampened the grounds in some areas. It gave us a lot of cloud south of the Thames and the M4. So that warning out for ice and for snow flurries towards the north and the east. But we could also see, as I mentioned earlier, lots of misty low cloud developing, some freezing fog, temperatures widely below freezing, as we saw earlier, but -4 out in the suburbs as well. So it really is a cold night for the capital and the rest of the London region, as you can see. Now for tomorrow, it's going to take a long time for that misty low cloud to clear. Could give a few wintry flurries, but particularly coming into Essex and Kent, as we're seeing at the moment, and perhaps through the Thames Valley, rather a lot of cloud, quite grey and gloomy, but we'll see some brightness breaking through, and it's going to be cold again, just 3 to 5 degrees Celsius. We've had 5 today, and we've still got that breeze, but it is starting to ease away a little bit as we go through tonight and tomorrow. And then we look to the Atlantic for our next change. It's going to be a slow process bringing in this slightly less cold air off the Atlantic. I'm not going to call it milder. So a lot of fog first thing Saturday morning again, and a widespread frost. Colder still, and temperatures, well, it's drier. We might see a bit more sunshine coming through, but only 2 or 3, probably the coldest day. So as I say, there's just this hint that these weather fronts are starting to make inroads from the Atlantic, but I think it's going to take into the middle of next week before we really do shift away that cold air. So cold and frosty again, but do watch out for some freezing fog and a few wintry flurries, as we've seen as well, making it quite treacherously icy. Alison.
Time to add an extra layer, I think.
Absolutely.
Well, that's about it from me. Asad will be here later with our 10:30 programme. But for now, from all of us, do have a very good evening. Good night.